Okay, so page 398 of Ramjoo's diary. These are the short biographies at the end. So last time we just finished at Padri, so we'll start here. Number 34, Vishnu and Deorukhar, another disciple inmate of the Manzil, about whom I must write a little, was Mr. Vishnu Narayana Deorukhar, who is at present one of the private secretaries to Mayor Baba. Mr. Vishnu, who is by caste a Daiwadnya Brahmin, was born on 21st June 1903, exactly 10 days after the day on which the assassination of the royal family of Serbia took place. He lost his father, who was a goldsmith, when he was only 6 years of age. But he did not feel this loss much, as his grandfather, in every way, filled the place of his father. He was put to the New English School of Pune, in which he studied till the matriculations class. His house was in the same locality in which was situated the toddy shop, which Baramji, in partnership with Mayor Baba, bought at a government auction on 1st August 1918. At that time, Vishnu was only 15 years old and was in the 6th standard of the said school. Liquor and toddy sellers are considered by the Brahmins as mean, impious fellows. And so the boy Vishnu was surprised at the performance on Thursdays and Sundays by the new licensees of the ceremony of the Arti in honor of the Hindu saint Sri Upasani Maharaj. This did not tempt him to strike up acquaintance with Sethji, as Baba was then known in the locality of Kasba Peth. But when the boy learned that soon after the ceremony was over, Baba used to serve out sweetmeats and fruits, he promptly made up his mind to present himself on every occasion at the time of the ceremony. Needless to say, this resolution he carried out and availed himself of every opportunity to come into contact with Mayor Baba. The boy Vishnu had no idea that Baba was a God realized personage. But as Baba was very kind to him, he brought himself to love him and was as much drawn to him as the steel to the magnet. The master on occasions made enquiries of him as to his studies and as to the company he used to keep then. Many of Mr. Vishnu's school friends belonged to the well-to-do and used to spend a lot of money in gratifying their senses. The boy Vishnu could not afford to do so every day, but in order to keep up appearances and to maintain their friendship, he did not hesitate to take resort to foul means in order to obtain money. Neglecting his studies, he wasted his time in company with his worthless class chums, in hunting after pleasures. His mother, when she came to know of the evil propensities of her son, was much aggrieved but was at a loss what course she should take to improve the normal standard of her son. In her perplexity, she was driven to acquaint Mr. Sadashiv Patel, for whom her son had great respect, with his bad ways. Mr. Sadashiv thought that it was not probable that the boy would act up to his advice, so he complained to Mayor Baba about the misdemeanor of Mr. Vishnu. Baba, though not fully conscious at that time, fully understood the nature and habits of the boy. At the first opportunity, in the presence of a number of persons, he reprimanded the boy in harsh language for his moral lapse and then caned him. The master punished him in such a way as to charge home his sins to him, and the boy's conscience responded to the charge. To his bitter sorrow, he now learned that he had laid out his ill-gotten money in the purchase of tearful repentance. His mother, in her eagerness to see her son improved, informed all her relatives about the evil tendencies into which her son had fallen. The boy, though he repented of his misdeeds, bitterly resented this exposure, and smarting under it, as well as his failure at the matriculations examination at which he had appeared in April 1920, though not well up for it, left his mother's shelter and repaired to Bombay. In Bombay, Mr. Vishnu dragged on a miserable existence till Mayor Baba asked Mr. Gustaji and Hansotia to fetch him to Pune. When Mr. Vishnu returned to Pune, the master asked him to seek for employment. He obeyed Baba, and his efforts were crowned with success inasmuch as he got a good job in the military accounts department, which he served for 16 months. Towards the end of 1921, Baba, as my readers already know, became a conscious, perfect master. And it was then that Vishnu, to his great joy and equally great surprise, learned that his friend and benefactor, whom he used to call Sethji, was spiritually as perfect as Sri Krishna. Whenever he got an opportunity to call upon Mayor Baba, he embraced it and took pleasure in worshiping him and carrying out his wishes and orders. Sometime before the master left Pune for Bombay, he sent Vishnu to Ahmednagar to serve Khan Saheb Irani in his business. It was not until November 1922 that the master allowed him to join him at the Manzil in Bombay. Number 37, Asfandiar Rustam Irani, and that's Pendu. One of the near relatives of the master who has been faithfully serving him is undoubtedly Mr. Asfandiar Rustam Irani, who is popularly known among his fellow disciples by the nickname of Pendu, given to him by Mayor Baba. Mr. Pendu, whose mother is one of the sisters of the master's mother, was born in 1903 in Pune and studied in the St. Vincent's High School, which he left in 1919. Meher Baba has been very kind to Pendu and his parents, whom he oft used to visit at their home. They looked upon him as a noble, religious-minded youth, but till 1919 were unaware of his spiritual perfection. One day in 1919, Pendu, with his aunt Daulat Mai, went to worship Sri Upasni Maharaj. The perfect master of Sakori told Pendu that his relative Merwan was not an ordinary man, but spiritually as great as Zoroaster. These words of Maharaj made such a deep impression on Pendu that his already great respect for Merwan increased by leaps and bounds, and his admiration for him began to border on adoration. Till he went to Quetta in 1920, he used to call upon Merwan now and then at his toddy shop with the sole purpose of paying his respects to him. When the master left Pune for Bombay in May 1922, Pendu was still in Quetta, but as soon as he came to know that his great relative was settled at the Monzil in Bombay, he joined him there. And we come to a nice, that beautiful Discourses photograph, the back of the Discourses paperback. Meher Baba at Meherbad, 1927. So 33 years old. Okay, we're done. Sobs and throbs we already did first because we did it in reverse order.